Hello to all my friends out there. I was going to do a mukbang and include the discussion of grays, but I'm too full and I don't feel like eating a lot. So I'm just going to do a quick video on the grays. Okay, of all the aliens, I think when people think of an alien, they think of a gray. Okay. Gray aliens were common in the folklore of Utology, which is nuts. Utology is Greek for urine, branch of medicine that focuses on surgical and medical diseases of male and female urology, tract system of men and women, reproductive organs. So the gray aliens were common in folklore of Utology. Medicine wasn't horribly scientific a long time ago. So the most widely recognized visualization of an alien is a gray. There's two kinds. There's the tall grays and then there's the small grays. And another thing is, some people think aliens are demons, but I think an alien is something else other than a demon. I think a demon is disembodied and an alien has a body. Okay, the gray aliens have gray skin, bulbous head, no hair, large black almond-shaped eyes, rudimentary or absent nose, mouth, ears, and sex organs. And I have heard it reported by some that aliens are not very intelligent with the IQ of like an 80 IQ, which I don't agree. I have never seen a gray alien in person. I don't think I would like to see a gray alien in person because usually, okay, you have the Nordics and you have the reptilians that are kind of like together. And then, maybe I can find it, you have usually together insectoids and grays, like modern day reports of abductions usually report that there has been grays and insectoids together, which, okay, the grays are supposedly small, and the insectoids, unfortunately I didn't get the picture of the insectoid out. But when you really inspect an insectoid and a gray alien, they look kind of alike. You know, like the body of an insectoid, but it's not an insect, it's like more like a human. Okay, so now in the discussion of the gray aliens, very small nose, very tiny mouth, no ears, very rudimentary sex organs. I mean, usually the grays are depicted as naked, and there's usually no mention made of, they're mostly naked. However, the insectoids, it has been reported by women that the insectoids often display their sex organs, which would be horrible, really. So there's the tall, graceful grays, and there's the squat, dwarfish, small gray aliens. Okay, another thing is their skin is kind of rubbery, and there's been reports that some of the aliens that are like ocean type aliens, they look just like a human, but their skin is kind of rubbery and it's kind of bluish. They're kind of grayish with kind of rubbery skin. A small gray, they say, is about the size of a 9-year-old child. They can be pinkish yellow or like light-skinned humans. And there's been reports of them laughing. Kind of like, We Are the Munchkins, that kind of laughing, which would be kind of scary. David Icke reports they come from the Andromeda Galaxy. And it has been said that grays are the sex pests of the supposed alien world. I have heard of like people who were abducted. They have had like various procedures, done on them by the grays. And then this is a really creepy thing about the grays. Most abductions happen when people are sleeping. And then when they're abducted by the grays, then, oh no, here is the insectoids. So the grays that look kind of like an insectoid with no wings, if you really inspect them, the grays and the insectoids go together, the Nordics and the reptilians go together. And the insectoids, in my opinion, are very, very kind of evil. And it's been reported that the humans are abducted and taken to Mars or abducted and taken to the moon, both of which is not good for the humans. The abduction reports are really bad. There used to be, I don't know if I find them, I'll tweet them, but of some humans that have never been seen again abducted by grays. Okay, and this is another interesting thing. The abduction stories, except for the folklore, are very recent. So, okay, August 14th, 1947, R.L. Jonas, who was a professor, 2 green-skinned beings. And then the earliest known documentation, 1964, I guess that was in the U.S. And then the Roswell aliens, 1950. And then there was a report, Ray L. Dimmick, inhabitant, the gray alien was an inhabitant of a flying saucer 25 inches tall. So this was a tiny gray reported. And in the Roswell incident, they said what happened was a flying saucer. Of course, they changed the story a million times, but I think the earliest report was that the flying saucer crash, some of the aliens lived and some were dead. Although, in regards to these 25-inch tall aliens, there were some photos of it was on the internet, I did see those, of like some what is this called, cadaver aliens that they did, and then they did some some tests on some dead aliens. There was photos and they looked very tiny. Okay, then in 1963, Betty and Barney Hill, which was a couple, and this is famous for one of the most famous abduction stories, reported being abducted, but could only recall under hypnosis. So that's kind of suspicious, because there was no real recall. It was just when they were hypnotized. So so you can see this is kind of recent, these reports of aliens. So do I think there are gray aliens? Yes. Do I think there are insectoids? Yes. Do I think these aliens and the insectoids abduct humans and take humans to Mars for 20 years and 20 years and back? Yes. And most of the time, after the people have been abducted, they're all messed up and, they've been abducted and it's been traumatizing. And all the stories are kind of like, kind of like the same, which kind of gives credence to their claims. And then the other thing that kind of gives credence to their claims, okay, since the first admitted abduction, which was in 1947, I think, between 1947 and now, we've had all this technological advancement that far exceeds the advancement of hundreds of years, no, thousands of years before that, which is odd. Why? So, do I think the Greys, this is my opinion, the Greys and the insectoids are kind of the same species, but the insectoids are way larger. And if the Greys were some kind of insectoid, they would be like a small mantis. And so when there's reports about the mantis on the spaceships, when the people are abducted, they always report that the mantis is controlling the spacecraft, and the Greys are like the ones that abduct them a lot of times, not that the insectoids don't, and perform a lot of hideous experiments on them. So the Greys are not like always good. And some of the tall Greys are not good at all. So that is my take as of now. So what I wanted to say mainly is the Nordics and the reptilians kind of go together, because the Nordics are shape-shifted reptilians into the shape of a human. And then the insectoids and the Greys go together, and the Greys are very similar to an insectoid, but taking on the form of a human. And the insectoids are most likely king of the Beelzebub would be king of the insectoids. So when you have Grey, so you would say, do I think Grey aliens are good? Well, probably not. Probably not, since they abduct humans in their sleep and take them off the planet, and it's always a nightmare. They're always taken into a slave condition and forced labor. And then when they get back, they seem to have aptitudes that they have no way of really, how did you acquire these aptitudes? It is really odd that they would have them. There was nothing to account for them in like past generations or in their past, which is super interesting. So that is my spin on the Grey aliens as of now. Probably more coming, but I just wanted to do a quick video on the Grey aliens. Okay, you guys, God bless you all.